I've come to a few realizations. So there were a few things I missed in my last video, one of which being the professor's outfits. Yeah, I'll be honest, the first time I watched this trailer and made that first video, the only reason I didn't put two and two together with the whole past and future theme and the professor's outfits is simply because of the fact that in Sword and Shield, some of the characters' outfits are like kinda wild. Like trainers had like some of the most bizarre outfits sometimes, and it was kinda crazy, so I just expected it from Pokemon, to be honest. So I didn't even realize that Sada and Turo could be like past and future themed. As you can see, the professors corresponding to their games have outfits that look kind of like the legendaries. Since Turo has a futuristic outfit and Sada has a more prehistoric vibe to her outfit, you could see like the tooth or claws, whatever that is on the necklace there, and also the fur coming out of her lab coat. These obviously resemble the legendaries from each game, which brings me to my next point. Koraidon and Miraidon. Yeah, I know I said Miraidon in the last video, but that's only because of the typo in the Cerebi tweet, which obviously I'm not going to hold against Joe or anybody else who works at Cerebi, but I do apologize for not making sure it was the right name before I covered it. Now that we know the actual names, we can go ahead and break them down. Koraidon, the name of the Scarlet Legendary, I said in my last video that he looks more like he's living, and the Violet Legendary Miraidon looks more like some kind of technology machine type thing. These legendaries obviously look a lot like the professor's outfits, and also correspond to each of the games that the professors are in. Now there are a couple things to take from this, one being that Korai in Japanese means the past, and Mirai in Japanese means the future. I don't know if I pronounced those in the proper Japanese way, but I just kind of took the first part of each legendary's name, so don't hate on me in the comments for it. Either way, this basically confirms the whole past and future theme of Scarlet and Violet. In Scarlet, we have the more prehistoric looking things, and then Violet, we have the more futuristic looking things. This will probably end up playing a huge part in the game's storyline. Obviously, we have very limited information right now, and all we can do is really speculate based off of the little information that we have. But in the comments of my last video, someone pointed out that these legendaries could be actually the same species, but the one from Violet might just be a technological recreation of the one from Scarlet. So Koraidon could be some sort of ancient legendary, and Miraidon could be some sort of recreation. This wouldn't necessarily be a new concept to the Pokemon world either, considering Mewtwo was a recreation of Mew, kind of, except with modifications, and it was essentially a 2.0 version of Mew, hence the name Mewtwo. So this is definitely possible. Now, another way you could take it is that the legendaries are from different time periods, and in the actual games you get to use some sort of time traveling mechanic. A time traveling mechanic would be interesting, but there are a few things to consider. One being that Pokemon has never actually done this with any of their games before. However, the concepts of time and space have been very prevalent in a lot of the past games, and while time hasn't necessarily been manipulated, space definitely has. You see things like the Hoopa Rings, Ultra Wormholes, and so many other things in Pokemon games that just have you traveling to like different worlds and dimensions and stuff like that. So these could be the first games that actually introduce the concept of time travel in Pokemon, which would be extremely huge for the series. However, the manipulation of time would be a lot more significant than space in this case because of how important the concept of time is. And not just anybody can hop in the Dialga bathtub and go back to whatever time period they want, you know what I mean?
We've captured Dialga and used his power to create a time machine, and we're gonna send you back to the day you gave me a sandwich.
I feel like it just has the potential to hurt the Pokemon world a lot more if done incorrectly. But if limitations are put in place and the games are done properly, I feel like time travel would be a super awesome concept to have. And besides, we've already seen things like the Distortion World, and now that I think about it, in Gen 7, I feel like you actually could go to a different time period with the Altar of the Sun and Moon, because you'd have to go in there to catch Cosmog or whatever, and when you went through the hole, you'd straight up be transported to the other game, which is the opposite time. And morning and night were just straight up flipped in those games too, so time definitely has been messed with before in the past. I also believe that Hisuian Pokemon are probably going to be in the game as well, and as we know by playing Legends Arceus, Hisuian Pokemon are pretty much from an older version of Sinnoh, right? Therefore it's a different time period, and maybe we'll only be able to catch those Pokemon through the time travel mechanic or something like that. Either way, super cool concept, and it definitely looks like we'll have something related to time travel in these games. Alright, look, I made a Baywheels reference, a Unicycle reference, a Chima Speedor's reference. And that was only because one wheel I thought was visible, right, on the legendaries. But come to find out, look at this wheel, okay? It's got the spikes on it. It kind of looks like part of its body. Well, I guess it is part of its body. Right, cool, the color scheme, whatever. And the tail, I didn't realize this until recently. It looks pretty much the same, okay? It looks like they're going to be able to curl their tails and turn them into wheels, which shouldn't physically be possible, but it's Pokemon, okay? It makes sense. So that pretty much confirms the fact that if these Pokemon are indeed going to be utilized as vehicles, they will have 2 wheels, not just one. And that's pretty awesome, because one of the references I made is of a motorbike, and makes a lot more sense now. Or I guess Miraidon actually might not be a bike since it has boosters in the back. Anyway, I just wanted to point all this out because, actually hold up, the people who make Pokemon names are some of the most creative people, and it's insane. Lechonk. Sounds like just a complete meme. He's a chonky boy. It just sounds memey. But they also, of course, being Pokemon creators, they had to base the name off of something. Lechon. Did I pronounce that right? Hold up.
Lechon.
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 Lechon. Wait.
Lechon.
Lechon. Either way, this brings me back to the first trailer. When we saw the first trailer, we all figured it was going to be a region based off of Spain, because of the architecture and the map and whatnot, and it just made sense. So with Lechonk being based off of lechon, which I believe is a Spanish dish, this just ties in so nicely with everybody's predictions that these games are going to take place in a Spain-based region with some sort of time-traveling mechanic and or an overall past and future theme. I don't know how, but I both really hope this is real and also hope it's not real at the same time. Like, I genuinely can't tell if that's amazing or horrifying. Subscribe or this buff pig will eat you.